Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Keegan. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave your opinions down in the comment section. DaBaby, KIRK. DaBaby is a rapper from North Carolina who's really blown up in the last year. Off the back of his massive viral single Suge, along with the following success of his debut studio album Baby on Baby, and also being hot off the heels as one of the most notable and best members of the XXL freshman list, it's no wonder how DaBaby got his insane rise in popularity. I mean, the guy can rap his ass off, no questions asked, he's got a lot of talent. This album I'm reviewing is his highly anticipated follow-up to Baby on Baby, and an album I've been looking forward to, so let's see how it turns out. The album had only one single, the opener, the aptly titled Intro, which is, in all honesty, a very good introduction both to this album and DaBaby as a person. DaBaby raps about his friends and family, and easily one of the toughest moments on this album is when he acknowledges how his father passed just after his career started to take off. And also how he looks at his daughter, and how she bears such a resemblance to said recently passed father. It is one of the most lyrical and also technical songs on this album, and also one of the best on it as well. It's a very fitting teaser and single. Now for the rest of the songs. Off the rip, on the first few listens is pretty engaging. The thumping yet still muted bass goes pretty hard when paired with the skittering drum, and DaBaby's flow is quick, albeit static and traditional, but taking a bit of a deeper delve into it, there's not a lot here that's memorable. The song itself is not even 2 minutes in length, and it just starts to get extremely repetitive after several listens. Lyrically, there is not much here. Unlike Intro, which was this gateway into DaBaby's life, this one's just a brag anthem, and a forgettable one at that. In all honesty, this song should not have had to stand side by side with Intro in the track list. It just makes the song feel insignificant in the long run. Bop has a lot of similar problems to Off the Rip, except I think that, just like the song title itself, this song is a bop. First off, the bass is a lot tougher and a lot more powerful. It just feels like more effort was thrown into the song than on Off the Rip. Also, I am a sucker for prominent flutes and instrumentals, and this one just feels so elegant and nice. DaBaby's flow is a bit slower, a bit more concise this time around. Lyrically, there's a bit more here, talking about how he gives his mom some money, and how he got his money legitly. Aside from that, it's just standard stuff. But it's a fine song, I don't hate it. VIBEZ really sound like it's trying to be a sequel or some spiritual successor to his big hit Suge. It's got all the elements there. It's got a thumping bass line, some background synth that tries to be the melody, the same producer, and a similar flow, although this song has a bit more of DaBaby trying to harmonize, which is probably one of his weaker assets overall. DaBaby's really at his peak when he's constantly non-stop rapping about whatever, no singing, not much lyrical thought, just dropping bangers, and this is definitely one of them. It's the catchiest song so far on this album, and also one of the hardest. Popstar with Kevin Gates kinda shows DaBaby at his worst. This flow is the most generic flow I think I've ever heard. It's so sleepy, it's so boring, and the production really does not help. All it is just some light keyboard behind a tough drum, no overpowering bass that DaBaby can properly sell. I can definitely acknowledge that he's trying to do something new with this song and this album as a whole, but I think he really needs some work in that regard, especially on the melodies when he sings. It just feels wrong. And Kevin Gates is easily the best part of the song here. His flow is sporadic, giving some much needed energy, just rapping about drugs, money, women. As a whole, though, it's not really a song to keep around. Gospel with Chance the Rapper, Gucci Mane, and YK Osiris is such a different song and such a power lineup. First off, DaBaby and YK harmonizing together just feels so off. But this is a track where DaBaby's melodies actually don't sound that bad. He's rapping about some real stuff here, like how his mom was constantly working, trying desperately to pay rent. His flow is engaging, it's fast on the latter half, and his hook has said melodies, but again, they're not that bad. YK Osiris really only shares a few bars on the hook, but what he has so far it's fine, it's inoffensive. Chance also has a very nice verse. Unfortunately, hasn't grown out of the cringy lyrics thing like on The Big Day, but it's varied, it's fine, the instrumental works well for him, but it's not as good as DaBaby's. And Gucci's verse is also fine, but it's just a little bit boring. And it also just randomly ends without a proper send-off, so not much to talk about for that. It's a fine song, and I recommend that it's one worth giving a listen to. iPhone with Nicki Minaj probably features one of the worst hooks on this project, with DaBaby's melodies returning full swing. But not just sonically, also lyrically, where he raps about how he told his girl he loves her, but that was just a typo, somehow. I don't even know what you could misclick to type love you. Maybe he meant a lie, but that doesn't really work with the lyrics. Regardless, DaBaby's verse is a mixed bag. The first half has the same problems as the hook, but the second half is rapid-fire bars, and that's nice. Nicki's verse carries the same topic over, basically about how your side partner is still better than your main. I really enjoy Nicki's feature here. Her verse is extremely well fit for the song with her bossy sounding delivery and non-stop flow. As a whole though, I'm indifferent to this song. The hook is bad, the verse is fine, and the feature is good, so it's about 50-50. Toes with Lil Baby and Moneybagg Yo finally gets back on track. This is what DaBaby sounds the best on, just a tough, gritty, heavy bass combined with a dominant, charismatic delivery, and he kills it on this song. Unfortunately, Lil Baby adds next to nothing, so much so that I completely forgot his verse existed the first 2 listens. Moneybagg Yo works well on this one, only because him and DaBaby share a lot of similar assets, deep expressive voice and a similar style for flow. First song in a while that I genuinely enjoy, check this one out. Really, with Stunna for Vegas is probably one of the funnest and best tracks on this album. DaBaby sounds perfect over this beat, and also is one of the few times that he's perfectly in time with the skittering percussion and deep thumping bass. Other times, he doesn't really go off, but he just adds extra syllables to make it seem like it is off. But this time it's perfect. Stunna for Vegas also has a nice verse on here. He's got some charisma and the flow is captivating, although it is a little bit short unfortunately. I would have liked to see more of that, but it's still a good song. It's probably one of the best here. Probably Heard on the other side of the spectrum is probably the closest this album gets to filler. Other songs did this style better, like Boppin' Vibes with this gritty heavy bass and some very muted synths. Lyrically, it's just normal. You probably heard he was broke from a broke person, you know, legit, same old stuff. One of the weirdest lyrics in this album shows up here, though, where DaBaby says, "I'm married to cheese, no divorcing." I don't know if he really likes cheese that much, or cheese is some metaphor for money. I know blue cheese is. But the way he raps it is so literal, even mentioning how other people are lactose intolerant. Aside from that, though, this is filler at best. Raw Shit with Migos is also a fairly good song. I think DaBaby goes on for a little bit too long, as the Migos don't even really get much time to shine on here. Quavo and Offset only get 8 bars each, and Takeoff gets 16. The hook gets a bit repetitive near the end of the song, but aside from that, I mean, all 4 rappers kill their own respective parts. There's nothing inherently wrong with the song at all, in fact, it's pretty okay. There We Go is probably the worst song on this album, and the only song here I genuinely don't like. And it's all thanks to that god-awful hook. The vocals are so highly pitched that I'm surprised they're not chipmunk vocals, and it's just nonsensical mumbling. But to be serious, even the rest of the song is pretty lacking. The melody keeps repeating the hook's pattern, which is just delightful. And there's next to no bass in this song, which we've already established does not go well with DaBaby. I just can't stand this song. Just put it in the trash where it belongs. And finally, the closer XXL is literally just his XXL cypher verse. That's it. No switching words, flows, or anything like that. It's just his verse with a pretty boring instrumental. I mean, I didn't mind his verse in the cypher, it just really went on for too long in my opinion, and it feels the exact same way here. It's kind of an anticlimactic way to finish your album. Overall, it's clear that there are some flaws with this album, mainly coming in through DaBaby's melodies, which he does need to work on. Production choice here is also pretty questionable, but aside from that, there's a lot of replay value to some songs on here. It's very ambitious, for better or for worse, which I can still always respect. And it's definitely home to some of my favorite DaBaby songs to date. I see a lot of potential, and I'm hoping he grows as an artist and a rapper as a result of this album. I'm feeling about a 6 out of 10 on this album. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.